mantra and asking for a life filled with happiness. Om Amrito Pastaranamasi Swaha. Om Amrita Pidhanamasi Swaha. Om Satyam Yashaha Shrirmai Shri Shrayatam Swaha. Om Shano Devi Rabishtaya Apo Bhavantu Pitaye Shanyorabhi Sravantuna Devi Swarupa Ishwara Puranna Bishta Kije Yahani Raho Sudhamai Kalyana Dana Dije Nityariri Siri Barase Ita ho sada hamara Bahati rahe hridaya mein Sada dharma prema dhara Sada dharma prema dhara. All-pervading Mother, sweet and divine, be pleased to bless thy cravings of my soul, to reach thy bosom, may this world of mine be filled with peace and bliss from pole to pole. Yes, be filled with peace and bliss from pole to pole. Atta Angasparsha Mantra. Touching our limbs with water and pray that these limbs may earn us fame and strength. Om Vak Vak. Om Pranaha Pranaha. Om Chakshush Chakshu. Om Shrotram Shrotram. Om Nabhi. Om Hirdayam. Om Kantaha. Om Shiraha. Om Bahubhyam Yashobalam. Om Karatala Karaprishte. Attamarjana Mantra. Om Bhupanatu Shirasi. Om Bhuvaha Punatu Netrayoh. Om Swapunatu Kante. Om Maha Punatu Hirdaye. Om Janaha Punatu Nabhyam. Om Tapaha Punatu Padayoh. Om Satyam Punatu Punnashirasi. Om Kham Brahma Punatu Sarvatra. Atta Pranayama Mantra. Controlling our breath. Om Bhu Bhuvaha. Om Swaha. Om Maha. Om Janaha. Om Tapaha. Om Satyam. Om Bhu Bhuvaha. Om Swaha. Om Maha. Om Janaha. Om Tapaha. Om Satyam. Om Bhuvaha. Om Swaha. Om Maha. Om Janaha. Om Tapaha. Om Satyam. Atta Agamarshana Mantra. Think about God as the creator, the sustainer, and the destroyer. Om Ritancha Satyancha Bhidata Tapasoda Jayata Tadoratray Jayata ततः समुद्रो अर्णवः ॐ समुद्रादर्णवादधिः संवत्सरो अजायत अहोरात्राणि विदद्य विश्वस्य मिषतो वशी ॐ सूर्यचन्द्रमसौधाता यथा पूर्वमकल्पयत् दिवं च पृथिवीं च अन्तरिक्षमतो स्वः ॐ शनो देवीरभिष्टय आपो भवन्तु पीतये शन्योरभिस्रवन्तु नः अथ मानसा परिक्रमन्त्र certifying the presence of God in all directions and expressing our gratitude for the bounties He has provided for all of us. Om Prachidigagniradipatirasito Rakshita Dityaishava Tebhyo Namo Dipatibhyo Namo Rakshitribhyo Nama Ishabhyo Nama Ebhyostu Yosman Dvishtiyam Vayam Dvishmastam Mojambe Dadmaha Om Dakshina Digindro Dipatistirashchira Jirakshita Pitaraishava Tebhyo Namo Dipatibhyo Namo Rakshitribhyo Nama Ishabhyo Nama Ebhyostu Yosman Dvishtiyam Vayam Dvishmastam Mojambe Dadmaha Om Pratichi Digvaruno Dipati Pridaku Rakshita Namishavaha Tebhyo Namo Dipatibhyo Namo Rakshitribhyo Nama Ishabhyo Nama Ebhyostu Yosman Dvishtiyam Vayam Dvishmastam Mojambe Dadmaha Om Udichi Diksomo Dipati Swajo Rakshita Shanirishavaha Tebhyo Namo Dipatibhyo Namo Rakshitribhyo Nama Ishabhyo Nama Ebhyostu Yosman Dvishtiyam Vayam Dvishmastam Mojambe Dadmaha Om Dhruva Digvishnuradipathi Kalmashagrivo Rakshita Virudaishava Tebhyo Namo Dipatibhyo Namo Rakshitribhyo Nama Ishabhyo Nama Ebhyostu Yosman Dvishtiyam Vayam Dvishmastam Mojambe Dadmaha Om Urdhva Digbrahispati Radhipatihi Shvitro Rakshita Varshamishavah Tebhyo Namo Dipatibhyo Namo Rakshitribhyo Nama Ishabhyo Nama Ebhyostu Yosman Dvishtiyam Vayam Dvishmastam Mojambe Dadmaha Tatta Upastana Mantra Om Udvayantamasaspariswaha Pashyanta Uttaram Devan Devatra Suryamaganma Jyotiruttama दृश्ये विश्वाय सूर्यम् ॐ चित्रं देवानामुदगादनीकं चक्षुर्मित्रस्य वरुणस्य अग्निः आप्राद्या वा पृथिवी अन्तरिक्षम् सूर्य आत्मा जगतस्तस्तुषश्च स्वाहा ॐ तच्चक्षुर्देवहितं पुरस्तात् शुक्रमुच्चरत् पश्येमा शरदः शतम् जीवेमा शरदः शतम् शृण्युयामा शरदः शतम् प्रब्रव्यामा शरदः शतम् दीनाः स्याम शरदः शतम् भूयश्च शरदः शतात् ॐ शनो देवीरभिष्टया आपो भवन्तु पीतये शन्योरभि स्रवन्तु नः अथ ब्रह्मा गायत्री सावित्री गुरुमन्त्र ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ अथ समर्पणाव्याख्याम् हे ईश्वर दयानिधे भवत्कृपायनेन जपोपासनादिकर्मणा धर्मार्थकाममोक्षाणां सद्यः सिद्धिर्भवे नः तत ईश्वर नमस्कुर्यात् final obeisance ॐ नमः शम्भवाय च मयो भवाय च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च हे मङ्गलेश शङ्कर मंगलकरो हमारा पावन प्रकाश पाए परमार्थ पुण्य द्वारा परिजान पया पिला दो अवदर गाददानी तेरी शरण में आया है भक्त यह भवानी है भक्त यह भवानी And now I bow to thee, O God of calm, O God of peace and Lord of bliss divine. Thy grace supplies the burning hearts abound. Thy blessings in my right desires shine. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Iti Vidhi Samapta. Here comes to the end of Sandhya meditation. And now I will hand you over to our President, Bhai Sohan Singh, for the transition bhajan. Oh, I'm sorry. Pandita Amrita, since she's already here and well prepared. Thank you.
Page 59 in the Atma Gita. O merciful one, kindle your light in the temple of my mind. Remove the hopelessness and despair caused by the darkness of ignorance. Daya mein jyoti man mandir, daya kar jag maga jao. Daya mein jyoti man mandir, daya kar jag maga jao. अंधेरे की परेशानी, अंधेरे की परेशानी, निराशा को हटा जाओ. दया में ज्योति मन मंदिर, दया कर जग मगा जाओ. हरे जुगनू निरालंकार, तिम तिम कर सुझाई इसको. हरे जुगनू निरालंकार, तिम तिम कर सुझाई इसको. नहीं मार्ग कहीं लखता, नहीं मार्ग कहीं लखता. मुझे ध्रुव पार ले जाओ. दया में ज्योति मन मंदिर, दया कर जग मगा जाओ. यहाँ है विघ्न बाधाएं, भटकता झारियों फिरता. यहाँ है विघ्न बाधाएं, भटकता झारियों फिरता. ततोनु शुभ्र ज्योत्स्ना को, ततोनु शुभ्र ज्योत्स्ना को, इसी प्रतिबोध से आओ. दया में ज्योति मन मंदिर, दया कर जग मगा जाओ. अंधेरे की परेशानी, अंधेरे की परेशानी, निराशा को हटा जाओ. दया
Purohita ji and Purohita Shivi ji for starting us off today. Welcome to today's Satsang that is being presented by the Mahila arm of the Arya Spiritual Center. Please join me in our Sankalpa for today on page 42 of the Vedika Ratna. Tatsat adhya Shri Brahmano Dvitiye Praharadhe Saptame Vaivasvate Manvantare Ashtavimshatitame Kalyuge Kaliprathama Charane Dvev Sahasre Ashtha Shit Vikrame Samvat Uttarayani Grishma Ritau Krishna Pakshe Ashvina Masi Amavasya Tithau Ravivara Divase Uttara Palguni Nakshatre Kanya Lagane Sarvatha Vidya Yoga Muhurte America Deshantargate New York Prante Queens Janapade Briarwood Nagare Arya Spiritual Center Arya Samaj Mandiram Sthane Devayaja Karma Karanaya Dayananda Gotrotpanasya Srimattaha Bhavantam Purohitam Vrine Om Satyaha Santu Yajyamana Namakamaha. Welcome to today's satsang. As we begin hawan with Achman, we ask, O God, may the sip of water that we take balance whatever is inside of us with the universe beyond us. Om Amrito Pastaranamase Swaha. Om Amrita Pidhanamase Swaha. Om Satyam Yashaha Shrirmayi Shriyashrayatam Swaha. Atha Angasparsha, touching of the various limbs, and asking, O God, may from here on each limb perform its rightful duty. Om Vamaseyastu. Om Nasurme Pranoastu. Om Akshanurme Chakshurastu. Om Karnayorme Shrotramastu. Om Baurme Balamastu. Om Orburma Ochoastu. Om Arishtani Mengani Tanusanvame Sahasantu. Ishwar Stuti Pratana Mantras, and we're on page 48 of the Vedika Ratna. Om Vishwani Deva Savitar Duritani Parasuva Yadhadram Tanasuva. Om Hiranya Garbha Samavartatagre Bhutasya Jataha Patirekasi Sadadhara Prithvim Yamudemam Kasmai Deva Yahavisha Videma. Om Ya Atmada Balada Yasya Vishwa Upasa आशिषं यस्य देवाः यस्य छायां मृदं यस्य मृत्युः कस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम ॐ यः प्राणतो निमिषतो महेत्वैका इन्द्राजा जगतो बभूव य ईशे अस्य द्विपदश्चतुष्पदः कस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम ॐ येन द्यौरुग्रा पृथिवी च दृढा येन स्वसभितं येन नाकः यो अन्तरिक्षे रजसो विमानः कस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम ॐ प्रजापते नत्वदेतान्यन्यो विश्वाजातानि परिता बभूव यत्कामस्ते जुहुवस्तनोऽस्तु वयं स्याम पतयोरयीणाम् ॐ सनो बन्धुर्जनिता सा विधाता धामानि वीरभुवनानि विश्वा यत्र देवा अमृतमानशानाः तृतीये धामन्यध्येरयन्ता ॐ अग्नेनय सुपताराय अस्मान् विश्वानि देव वयुनानि विद्वान् युयोजस्मज्जुहोराणमेनो भूयिष्ठान्तिं नमोक्तिं विधेम O radiant divinity, cause of all manifestations in the universe, remove all impurities from us and endow us with all that is noble. Ataha swasti vachanam Om Agnivire Purohitam Yajasya Devam Ritvijam Hotaram Ratnadatamam Om Sanaha Piteva Sunavegni Agni Supayano Bhava Sajaswanaha Swastaye Om Swasti no Mimitam Ashvina Bhagaha Swasti Devyaditir Nirmana Swasti Pusha Asuro Dadhatunaha Swasti Dyava Prithvi Suchetuna Om Swasti Vayu Bhuprabhavamahe Soman Swasti Bhuvanasya Yaspatihi Brihaspatim Sarvaganam Swastaye Swastayadityaso Bhavantu Naha Om Vishwe Devano Adya Swastaye Vaishwanaro Vasuragnihi Swastaye Devavandaribbhavaha Swastaye Swastino Rudraha Padvam Hasaha Om Swasti Mitra Varuna Swasti Patye Revati Swasti na Indrashagnisha Swasti no Adite Kridhi Om Swasti Pantha Manucharema Surya Chandramasa Viva Punardarata Gnata Janata Sangame Mahi. We sing in praise of the Great One, who is the source of all light, who existed before creation, who is the first teacher of all material and spiritual knowledge, who is worthy of contemplation at all times, and who is the provider of all beautiful and precious things. Ataha Shanti Karanam Om Shanaindragni Bhavata Mahodhi Shanaindra Varuna पुरन्दिरशमुसन्तुरायः
शन्नः सत्यस्य सूयमस्य शंसः शन्नो आर्या पुरुचातो अस्तु
ॐ शनो धाता शमुढता नो अस्तु शना उरुचि भवतु स्वराभिः
शम्रोदसी बृहति शन्नो अद्रिः शन्नो देवानां सुहवानि सन्तु
ॐ शनो अग्निर्ज्योतिरग्निको अस्तु शना मित्रा वरुणा विश्विनाशम्
शन्नः सुकृतां सुकृतानि सन्तु शन्न ईश्वरो अभिवातु वातः
ॐ शनो ध्यावा पृथिवी पूर्वहूतौ शमन्तरिक्षं दृश्येनो अस्तु
शन्न औषधीर्वनिनो भवन्तु शन्नो रजसस्पतिरस्तु जिष्णुः
ॐ शना इन्द्रो वसुर्भिदेवो अस्तु शमारितिर्येभिर्वरुणः शुशंसः
शन्नो रुद्रो रुद्रेभिर्जलाशः शन्नस्त्वष्टाग्नाभिरिह शृणोतु
ॐ शनः सोमो भवतु ब्रह्मशन्नः शनो ग्रावाणः शमुसन्तु यज्ञः
शन्नः स्वरुणामितयो भवन्तु शन्नः प्रस्वः शमुवस्तु वेदिः
May we derive peace from electricity, fire, and water. May the sun and moon bring us peace and fearlessness by eradicating disease. May electricity and wind bring us vigor and peace. Ataha Shiva Sankalpa Mantra. O God, may that mind of mine always be filled of noble intentions. Om Ye Jagrato Duramadeiti Devam Taru Suptasya Tatheveti Durangamam Jyotisha Jyotirekam
तन्मे मनः शिव संकल्पमस्तु
ॐ येन कर्माण्यपसो मनीषिणो यज्ञे कृण्वन्ति विदधेषु धीराः
यत्पूर्वं यक्षमन्तः प्रजानां तन्मे मनः शिव संकल्पमस्तु
ॐ यत् प्रजानमुत चेतो दृजिष्य यज्ञोतिरक्तमृतं प्रजासु
यस्मान्नरिते किञ्चन कर्म क्रियते तन्मे मनः शिव संकल्पमस्तु
ॐ येनेदं भूतं भुवनं भविष्यत् परिगृहीतम् अमृतेन सर्वं
येन यजस्थायते सप्तहोता तन्मे मनः शिव संकल्पमस्तु
ॐ यस्मिन् ऋचा सामजुंषि
यस्मिन् प्रतिष्ठिता रत्नभाविवाराः यस्मिन् स्थितं सर्वभूतं प्रजानां तन्मे मनः शिव संकल्पमस्तु
ॐ सुशारतिरश्वानि वयं मनुष्या
प्रतिष्ठं येन चिरं जविष्ठं तन्मे मनः शिवसङ्कल्पमस्तु तन्मे मनः शिवसङ्कल्पमस्तु.
That celestial entity, the mind, which goes far when one is awake and wanders similarly when he is asleep, and which travels far and wide, is the only light of all lights, O God. May that mind of mine always be possessed only of noble intentions. Om Sanaha Pavaswa Shangave Sham Janaya Shamarvate Chandrajanoshadivyaha. Om Abhayam Naha Kartyantariksham Abhayam Yava Prithvi Bhime
Abhayam Pashadabhayam Purastar Uttaradhara Abhayam Nostu.
Om Abhayam Mitrarabhayam Amitra Abhayam Jatarabhayam Paroksha
Abhayam Nakam Abhayam Nivana Sarvasha Mama Mitram Bhavantu Sarvasha Mama Mitram Bhavantu.
Iti Sanshepataha Shanti Karanam Ataha Agni Pradiparam. May we all stand for the kindling of the fire. Om Bhurabhuva Swaha. Om Bhurabhuva Swadhyauriva Bhumna Prithvi Varinna Tasyaste Prithvi Devaya Jani Prishtagni Manna Manna Nyaya Ladhe. Fanning of the fire, connecting both arms. Om Udbhuryagni Swagni Pratijagrahi Tvamishta Purate Samsrijeta Mayancha Asmin Sarase Ajutarasmin Vishwe Deva Yajamanasya Sirata. Three Samhita this time. Om Ayantayadma Atma Jatavedastene Vyaswabharhasvachena Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchase Nanajena Samedhaya Swaha. Inamagne Jatavedase Idanamama. Om
Samidhagnim Duvasyata Gritair Tithim Asmin Havyajotana. Om Susamidhaye Shochishi Gritam Tivram Juhotanam Agnaye Jatavedase स्वाहा इदमग्नये जातवेदसे इदन्नाम मम
ॐ तन्त्वा समिद्भिरङ्गिरो घृतेन वर्धयामसि बृहच्छोषाय विष्ठ्य
स्वाहा
इदमग्नये अङ्गिरसे इदन्नाम मम Panchakritahuti, 5 ghee offerings, and one of the desires in this offering is, oh God, may I have noble offsprings. And today we are joined by one noble offspring of Bahen Nalini and Bhai Vinud, their son, Bhai Avinash Ramprasad. And Bhai Avinash is our special guest today, and we're so happy to have you join us for Hawan. And he'll be making offerings as well. And if you see, he is the Raja today because he is surrounded by our Mahila. Om Mayantayid Mahatma Jata Virasene Dhaswavardhasvachira Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchase Nanadena Samedhaya Swaha Hiramagre Jata Vedase Idannamama
Mayantayidmatma Jatavirasteni Yasvavardhasvachedhavardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchase Nanadena Samedhaya Swaha Hiramagnaye Jatavedase Idannamama
Om Mayantayidmatma Jatavirasteni Dhaswavardhasvachedhavardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchase Nanadena Samedhaya
Swaha
Hiramagnaye Jatavedase Idannamama
Om Mayantayidmatma Jatavirasteni Yasvavardhasvachedhavardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchase Nanadena Samedhaya Swaha Hiramagnaye Jatavedase Idannamama.
Fifth offering. Om Mayantayidmatma Jatavirasteni Dhaswavardhasvachedhavardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashubhir Brahma Varchase Nanadena Samedhaya
Swaha
Hiramagnaye Jatavedase Idannamama Atha Jal Sinchana Om Arite Anumanyaswa Om Anumate Anumanyaswa Om Saraswati Anumanyaswa Om Deva Savitaha Prasvayajam Prasvayajam Patim Bhagaya Divyo Gandharvaha Ketapuhu Ketannaha Punatu Vachaspatir Vachamnaha Swadatu. Continue with key offerings. Om Agnaye Swaha Hiramagnaye Idannamama
Om Somaya Swaha Idam Somaya Idannamama
Om Prajapate Swaha Idam Prajapate Idannamama
Om Indaya Swaha Idam Indaya Idannamama.
Ghee or samagri. Om Suryo Jyotir Jyotihi Suryaha Swaha
Om Surya वर्चः स्वाहा
ॐ ज्योतिः सूर्यः सूर्यो ज्योतिः
स्वाहा
ॐ
सजुर्देवेन सवित्रा सजुरुषसेन्द्रवत्या जोषानः सूर्यो वेदु स्वाहा
ॐ अग्निर्ज्योतिर्ज्योतिरग्निः
स्वाहा ॐ अग्निर्वर्चो ज्योतिर्वर्चः स्वाहा
ॐ स्वाहा
ॐ सजुर्देवेन सवित्रा सजुरात्रेन्द्रवत्या जुषानो अग्निर्वेदु स्वाहा
ॐ भुरग्ने प्राणाय स्वाहा इदमग्ने प्राणाय इदन्नामम
ॐ भूर्वायवे पानाय स्वाहा
इदं वायवे पानाय इदन्नामम ॐ सुरादित्याय व्यानाय स्वाहा इदमादित्याय व्यानाय इदन्नामम ॐ भूर्भुवः सुरग्नि वायवादितेभ्यः प्राणापान् व्यानेभ्यः
स्वाहा
इदमग्नि वायवादितेभ्यः प्राणापान्
व्यानेभ्यः इदन्नामम
ॐ आपो ज्योतिरसमृतं
ब्रह्मा भूर्भुवः स्वरो स्वाहा
ॐ यामेनां देवगणाः
पितरश्चोपासते तयामा मध्यमेधयाग्नि मेधाविनं कुरु स्वाहा ॐ विश्वानि देव सवितर् दुरितानि परासुव यद्भद्रं तन्नासुव स्वाहा
ॐ अग्नेनय सुपथाराय अस्मान् विश्वानि देववयुनानि विद्वान् युयोर्यस्मज्जुहुरार्णमेनो भूयिष्ठाते नमौक्तिं विधेम स्वाहा. And at this time, I invite Pandit Prakash Ji to do our special mantras for today.
Thank you very much, Parintai Nirvani, for giving me the honor of chanting the special mantras this morning. I know many of you here are capable of doing this, but it's a privilege and an honor for me to do this morning. Om. We chant the Pavamana Huti, and we make offerings of ghee. And we ask God that today, whatever are your reasons and your desires for being in the mandir, may your desires have to be completed. Our functions here this morning, may your desires be fulfilled. Om. Om. Bhurabhuvah Swaha Agna Ayumshi Pavasa Asurvo Jamicham Chanaha Ari Badaswadutshunam Swaha Idamagnaye Pavamanaya Idannamama Om Bhurabhuva Swaha Agnirishihi Pavamanaha Panchajanyaha Purohitaha Tamimahi Mahagayam
स्वाहा
Idamagnaye Pavamanaya
इदन्नाममा
Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Agni Pavasva Swapa Asmi Varchah Suviryam Dadadrai Mai Pausham
स्वाहा
Idamagnaye Pavamanaya
इदन्नाममा
Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Prajapati Natvadetanyanyo Vishvajatani परिता बभूव यत्कामस्ते जोहमस्तनो अस्तु वयं स्याम पतयोरयीनां
स्वाहा
idam prajapataye idanna mama. To mantra from Ashtajahuti. Om Tvanuvagni Varunasya Vidvam Devasya Hidlo Vayasti Sishthaha Yajishtho Vahani Tamaha Shoshu Chano Vishwadveshan Sipamodhyasmat
स्वाहा
Idamagni Varunabhyam idanna mama. Om Bhavatannah Samannasau Sachetasavare Pasau Maya Jamhim Shistam Maya Jimpatim Jata Vedasau Shiva Bhavatam Madhyana
स्वाहा
Idam Jata Vedobhyam
इदन्ना मम.
Om. At this time, we remember and we give praise to those and ask God to bless them. Those who are facing physical challenges, ill health, or those who've lost a loved one, we chant this mantra and we ask God to remove any kind of difficulties that you may have in your lives. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhana Mrityor Mokshiya Mamrita Swaha. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhana Mrityor Mokshiya Mamrita
स्वाहा
Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhana Mrityor Mokshiya Mamrita Swaha. And as was said earlier today, we have a special guest by Avinash Ramprasad. Avinash, I'm not sure if you know why your parents gave you the name Avinash, but Avinash means indestructible. And so I'm sure there was a lot of thought given into finding that appropriate name for you. And as you've come here today to deliver what is called the Pravachan, that special message, we ask God that may you continue to do the good work. We ask God to bless you to do the good work. Be very steadfast in your profession. And may you also continue to help those that are less fortunate than you are. Om Swasti Pantha Anuchari Ma Surya Chandramasa Viva Punardatagnata Janata Samgame Mahi Swaha. And we pray that you, as well as all the others who are in the pursuit of higher education and the pursuit of sharing their knowledge, maintaining their intellect, being the intellectuals among us, in your various fields, we ask God to continue to bless your intellect, O Avinash, that you can continue to do the good work along with your parents and your community. Om Yamidham Devagana Pitarashopasate Tayama Madhya Medhayagni Medhavinam Kuru Swaha. We want to thank you for gracing us here this morning, gracing this Monday, gracing our satsang this morning. And today I was reliably informed that our Pradhanji, our president, is celebrating his birthday. So, Shriman Sohanji, may I invite you to make some offerings as we recognize you and celebrate this auspicious day for you. Oh. Om Indra Jiva Surya Jiva Deva Jiva Jivayasam Swaha. We ask God that may you, O Bhai Sohan, continue to serve this mandir and our community. May God bless you with a long life. Om Suchaksha Aham Akshibhyam Bhuyasam Suvarcha Mukhena Shushruta Karnabhyam Bhuyasam Swaha. Om Sanmasinchantu Marutaha Sampusha Sambrihaspati Samaya Agnihi Sinchantu Prajachadhinacha Dhirgamayu Krinotu Me Swaha. Om Tachakshuri Devahitam Purasta Chukramutcharat Pashima Sharada Shatam Jivima Sharada Shatam Srinuyama Sharada Shatam Prabhavama Sharada Shatam Adina Syama Sharada Shatam Bhoyascha Sharada Shatar Swaha. And this mantra that I'm going to chant says that may you continue to consume the food that promotes long life, strength, and intellect, O Bhai Sohan. May you always enjoy peace and tranquility in all of your endeavors. Om Shatam Jiva Sharaduhu Vardhamana Shatam Himanta Chatamu Vasantam Shatamindragni Savita Prihaspati Shatayusha Visaman Punarduhu Swaha. And one more mantra for you. We ask God to continue to bless your health, not only your health, but all of the Yajmans who are sitting around this Vedhi and all of us in this mandir here today. We ask God to continue to bless our health, bless our eyes, bless our ears, bless all our faculties, that may we continue to good work. Give us a long life with strong limbs, that may we continue to do good work for our community and for the world at large. Om Om Bhadram Karnebihi Sriniyam Deva Bhadram Pashimakshabhir Yajatraha Sthirayangishtushtuvam Sastanobhir Yashamhi Devahitam Yadayuhu Swaha. And one final mantra for you, O Bhai Sohan. Om Balam Dehi Tanushuno Balam Indra Nalutsunaha Balam To Kayatanyaya Jivase Tvam Hi Baladasi Swaha Swaha Swaha. We say Om Tvam Jiva Sharadaha Shatam Vardhamana. As we come towards the end, we will give you some Ashirwad. Over to Panditaya Nirvanaji.
Thank you, Pandit Prakash. And now we continue with key offering. Purna Huti Rubakaravaj offerings. Om Agni Swaha Idam somaya idannamama. Om Prajapate Swaha. Idam Prajapate idannamama. Om Indraya Swaha. Idam Indraya idannamama. Om Bhuragnaye Swaha. Idam Agnaye idannamama. Om Bhurvayave Swaha. Idam Vayave idannamama. Om Swarityaya Swaha. Idam Adityaya idannamama. Om Bhurbhuvah Suragni Vayavaditebhyah Swaha. Idam Agni Vayavaditebhyah idannamama. And now, can I ask us all to sit up for the Brahma Gayatri Savitri Guru Mantra? And if you're joining us virtually, I ask you that you take these few minutes to sit up and to dedicate this time only for chanting this mantra. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat Swaha. Switch to Kritahuti, Mohadbog Ahuti. Om Yadyasya karmanothyariricham Yadvanyunamihakaram Adrishtan Shrishakrit Vidyan Sarvam Shrishtam Sahutam Karotu Me Agnaye Shrishtakrite Sahutahute Sarva Prayaschittahutinam Kamanam Samardhayatre Sarvanah Kaman Samardhaya Swaha. Idam Agnaye Shrishtakrite idannamama. Prajapat Ahuti. Om Swaha. Idam Prajapatye idannamama. Can we all stand for the last three offerings? Om Sarvam Vay Purnam Swaha. Om Sarvam Vay Purnam Swaha. Om Sarvam Vay Purnam Swaha. And now we do Atha Mukha Sparsha. We are going to take this energy that was created during this hawan, from the sacred energy, and we're going to ask our bodies to absorb this energy. And as we leave this mandir, may we take this energy and transfer that energy to the next person we meet. Om Tanupagneyasi Tanva me pahi. Om Ayurdagneyasi Ayur me dehi. Om Varchodagnyasi Varcho me dehi. Om Agneyan me tanva Unam tanva aprina. Om Medha me deva Savita adadhatu. Om Medha me devi Saraswati adadhatu. Om Medha me ashwinau Devavadhatam pushkarasrajau. Like we started, we are going to end with touching our various limbs. Om Vachama Apyayatam. Om Pranaschama Apyayatam. Om Chakshushama Apyayatam. Om Shrotram Chama Apyayatam. Om Yashobalam Chama Apyayatam. May we all take our seats for Pujani.
याचे प्रार्थना भजन ओम पूजनीय प्रभु हमारे भाव जवन कीजिए छोड़ देवी छल कपट को मानसिक बन दीजिए वेद की गावीर जाए सत्य को धारण करे हर्ष में हो मग्न सारे शोक सागर से तरे अश्वमेधाधिक रचाए यज पर उपकार हो धर्म मर्यादा चलाकर लाभ दे संसार को नित्य श्रद्धा भक्ति से जादि हम करते रहे रोग पीड़ित विश्व के संताप सब हरते रहे भावना मिट जाए मन से पाप अत्याचार की कामनाएं पूर्ण होवे यज्ञ से नर नार की लाभकारी हो हवन हर जीवधारी के लिए वायु जल सर्वत्र हो शुभ कंठ को धारण किए स्वार्थ भाव मिटे हमारा प्रेम पथ विस्तार हो ईदन मम का सार्थक प्रति एक में व्यवहार हो हाथ जोड़ झुकाए मस्तक हाथ जोड़ झुकाए मस्तक वंदना हम कर रहे नाथ करुणा रूप करुणा आपकी सब पर रहे प्रभु आपकी सब पर रहे प्रभु आपकी सब पर रहे
ओ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया
सुखी हो कोई न हो दुखारी सब हो निरोग भगवन धन धान्य के भंडारी सब भाद्र भाव देखे सन्मार्ग के पथिक हो दुखिया न कोई होवे सृष्टि में प्राणधारी सृष्टि में प्राणधारी सृष्टि में प्राणधारी.
O Lord, may all be happy, may all be free from misery, may all realize goodness, and may no one suffer pain. Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. Namaste. Thank you all for joining us today in today's hawan in today's satsang. Okay, Bhai Sohanji, you're asked to come on the Singhasan. And please bear with us. We are going to offer Ashirvad to our President Ji.
Bhai Sohanji, we ask God once again to bless you, bless your intellect. This mantra says, give you the health and strength and the fortitude to continue to be a good leader for this mandir. And also may God, even when you have relinquished your post as president, may you continue to serve this mandir. Om Medhami Varuno Dadatu Medham Agnihi Prajapatihi Medham Indrascha Vayuscha Medham Dhata Dadatu Me Swaha. We say Om. Say with me everybody, Om.
Om
Saubhagyamastu.
Saubhagyamastu.
Om Shubham Bhavatu.
Om Shubham
Om
Bhavatu.
Tvam Jiva.
Om Tvam Jiva.
Sharadaha Shatam.
Sharadaha Shatam.
Vardhamana.
Vardhamana.
Thank you very much. I think we have just don't leave us yet. We ask a few of the young men to just garland you. Pavish, come quickly. You and Arun. Garland Pradhanji. And we thank you once again for your service to this mandir. Oh, thank you very much, Pantay.
Thank you very much, Bhai Sohanji, for all that you do for Arya Spiritual Center and our little community in Queens Village. Thank you very much. We welcome you to today's satsang. If you're joining us virtually, namaste. Thank you all for being here in Mandir today. Thank you for seeing so much of your faces. It's very heartwarming to see so many of you out here today in Mandir. Thank you for the effort. Whatever your desires for joining in today's satsang, we do hope that those desires were fulfilled. At this time, we are going to have our opening bhajan. Today is going to be, our program is actually going to be very different because if you've been joining us on social media, if you're in any of our chats, you know that today's program will be very different because we're not going to be having the usual items. we are going to replace those with our very special guest. But we are going to do our opening bhajan, and this is going to be done by Purohita Diana Bacchus Ramsamuj. And we now invite Diana to give her contribution for today. And while Diana is getting set up, I am going to ask if Bhai Sohanji will do our announcements after when Diana does her bhajan.
Namaste. जप मनना महेश्वर का वही मोती कदाता है वही पालन करे सबका वही सबका संगाता है जप मनना सेवा सके नहीं तेरा ये तो कोई और इस जग में सेवा सके नहीं तेरा ये तो कोई और इस जग में न भेता है न दाता है न भेता है न धारा है न बंधु है न माता है जप मनना महेश्वर का वही मोती कदाता है वही पालन करे सबका वही सबका सदाता है जपो मनना करे अभिमान तो नन का न तेरे साथ जावेगा करे अभिमान तो धन का न तेरे साथ जावेगा न जाए साथ Namaste.
Thank you very much, Mahendayana ji. And the gist of that bhajan says, why remain heedless in your slumber of ignorance? The call is for you to rise, for dawn is fast approaching, and you have to keep going onward. Rise and carefully bind your beddings together, for the time to continue the journey is about to come. Sounds a little morbid, but what it is, it's a call for us to make improvements in life. At this time, I am going to ask our President G to do our announcements for today, and then we're going to have the introduction for Bhai Avinash.
Thank you, Pandit Nirvani. Namaste, everyone. Let me, on behalf, we will have an introduction, but on behalf of our entire Samaj, welcome Dr. We can say Dr. Avi, right? That will be good. Dr. Avi here this morning. And we're looking forward to that presentation. I'm told it will be an interactive one. So feel you can start, if you haven't have your questions ready as yet, start thinking of some questions we can ask Dr. Avi. I'm very happy here to join this morning. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I didn't know it would have become public, but what's private anymore, right? I was out for the past week, only came back in last night, so that's why I did not do bhojan, but surely it's on me maybe in one of the coming weeks. So in terms of our presentation, just quickly, I mean, I'm happy that when I came in at 9 o'clock, so many people are here, so it's good when we come on time to start and to join at 9 o'clock. A very important event next month is celebration of Diwali. Some people say Deepavali. And that will be on the 20th of October. We will be having Yajja here, and that will begin at 7:30. And the reason for it starting at 7:30, we will give our members and friends some time to light their diyas. And so after that, then we can all join here at 7:30 on the 20th. And then, of course, thereafter, on the Friday night, beginning the Friday night after that, we'll be having our 3 sessions, Yajja, Diwali Yajja, and that, again, will be taking a slightly different form, so I encourage all to keep those dates in mind, and so for us to join in celebrating Diwali. Just quickly, our mandir runs and depends on your kind or your generous donations, so we ask that in whatever way you can donate to the upkeep of this mandir, of the Samaj. We look forward to your donations by the way of cash, Zelle, in whatever way. We look forward to your generous donations. Our Bal Vikas classes has restarted. Our Pandits training has also restarted, especially for Bal Vikas. Bhai Defendra, I see he's here. He needs that support, that committee, the teachers. They really need all of our support in making sure that this program for the next year is a major success. So I encourage all of us to reach out to Bhai Devendra especially, and to any other member of that committee to let's give our support and make sure that that program is a success. I know that next year, Mahendayana ji is here, and we're planning that is it the 40th year of the Virdal camp, and so that's another program. Mahendayana sent an email to us, so hopefully we will meet as a committee, the Samaj and the trustees and some other members. I'm hoping that we can meet on November the 1st in person here, but I'll reach out to those people that we'd like to have here so that we can plan a program for next year for all our events and all our major programs. So we're looking at a different way to make sure that we're ready for next year. those are the announcements for today. So once again, namaste.
Thank you, Bhai Sohanji. And at this time, I am going to ask Bhai Ryan, Ali, and Bhai Dominic to come up to do a garlanding. But I just want to say, I mean, everybody wants to get in on a little piece of introduction for Dr. Avinash Ramprasad, so I'll take advantage too. I have to tell you, I was working with Bhai Avinash to get this organized and everything, and I did not expect, because, you know, doctors are busy people and all of that, I did not expect that he was going to be so responsive. So I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for being so responsive to me. I want to thank you for making me feel like it wasn't a burden for you to do this. You were so enthusiastic and you were so accommodating. And I just want to thank you for making that communication, you know, with me smooth and comfortable. And I am going to ask Sagarji to do the introduction, and by Sagar, I apologize.
Thank you very much, Pandita Nirvani, and namaste, everyone. I'm so happy to see so many of you here today, and especially those who are here and those who are watching online. We want to thank you for joining today's satsang. It's a very special one, as you've heard. And the question is, why is today's session special? It's reported that approximately 1 in 5 children and adolescents in New York City experience some form of mental health disorder, including anxiety, depression, and behavioral problems. Today, the Arya Spiritual Center is bringing this problem to the attention of the community. So I'm delighted to introduce our esteemed speaker today, Dr. Avinash Ramprasad, a dedicated mental care specialist with many years of experience in the field. Dr. Avinash Ramprasad, a Baltimore-based psychiatrist specializing in addiction. He completed his undergrad at New York University and went to SUNY Upstate Medical University in 2016, and completed both his general psychiatry residency and addiction psychiatry fellowship at the University of Maryland, Sheppard-Pratt. Currently, he serves as the Associate Program Director for the University of Maryland in their residency program, and as an assistant professor at the University of Maryland Medical System. Dr. Ramprasad's area of expertise include psychodynamic psychotherapy, addiction psychiatry, community psychiatry, medical education, and general psychiatry. He has published several papers, including topics such as harm reduction and treating comorbid disorders and in addiction settings, with his work being cited multiple times. With a compassionate approach and a wealth of knowledge, Dr. Avinash has helped countless individuals improve their mental well-being by providing valuable insights and practical strategies. He's not only a licensed professional, but also a passionate advocate for mental health, awareness, and education. Dr. Avinash grew up in Queens and is no stranger to the Arya Spiritual Center because his parents are ardent members and supporters of the Arya Spiritual Center. He loves music, especially hip-hop, jazz, and electronic dance styles. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Avinash Ramprasad to the podium stage as he and his expertise insights on challenges adolescents faces from day to day. Let's give him a warm round of applause. I'll now call on Pandit Prakash just to read the special mantras as we garland and welcome Dr. Avinash to the stage, to the podium.
Oh, can go, Garland. Om Swasti Pantha Anucharima Surya Chandramasa Viva Punardatag Janata Samgame Mahi Om Swasti Om Swasti Om Swasti. Thank you very much. I don't know if you can use this mic or that mic. This song's
I want to sit with this, I guess, so I can change. No, this is fine. Yeah, okay. Namaste, everybody. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Thank you for the very kind introduction. It's always weird hearing people talk about me and work. I'm going to sit because my computer wire does not go too far, and this is where we have the slides. I hope everybody could see that. I have a lot of pictures to hopefully keep it interesting. And I am very informal with this, so trying to see how many kids are here. There's like a handful of teenagers, a lot of younger kids, so I didn't really know what the audience was, so if I gloss through some things very fast, that's why. Or if you guys have questions and want to stop me, please raise your hand. Kids, if you want to raise your hand. Kids, if you want to hang out later when we get lunch or something, we can always talk. So I am very laid back about it. But anyway, this is really an introduction to a very important field or important in our current day happenings, just as other folks have mentioned. So this is really an introduction. We're going to cover like a few topics, but this is very short, and all of these topics really deserve, I think, their own lecture of some sort, or own talk, or own discussion anyway. So anyway, you can see this little picture. I think the little picture, I get all my pictures from Google. So you can see the little scale of the brain here. So it says, from the right side, excelling, thriving, surviving, struggling, and in crisis. So hopefully I want everybody here, and we should all strive to be on the last two, excelling and thriving. Surviving, sometimes we have to survive and get by. But the other two, I think, is what a lot of folks are struggling with these days, and especially since the pandemic and even before that. So we will talk about some of that here. A caveat, I am not a parent. I think of myself as a child a lot of the time, so maybe I identify with one or the other. But a lot of the talk, I'm going to kind of alternate between things for parents to think about and things for kids and teenagers to think about too. So the objectives, I guess, me and Nirvani discussed. So these are things that were on the flyer and things we mentioned and thought were important for today. So to discuss some of the challenges kids and adolescents are facing day to day. I think she also got a bunch of topics from the kids, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully I tried to break it down according to that. And then also how to create safe, comfortable spaces to have open discussions, and how to learn and recognize signs of distress, and how to lend support, both parents for their kids and also sometimes vice versa. So we will try to get through as much of this as we can. And I hope the slides will be sent out to some folks, because again, like I said, there's a lot of, I have a few links in there. I have a few documents that are probably going to be too small for people to see on the screen, but happy to have it sent out, or I can send it out so you guys can have it as a reference. All right, so the first thing I think was mentioned was academic pressures about school and grades and all of that stuff. And so I think, and again, my whole life has been studying in school, so I have a different mindset, but I think there should be some healthy degree of pressure in our lives about school. The pressure should come from you yourself. I mean, you should want to get good grades, or you should want to do well in school, because that is kind of your job as a kid, I think. And again, of course, different families, different circumstances. People may have to have jobs as kids to help support their parents, or they are just moved from Guyana or somewhere else and they have hard circumstances. So it's not always the first thing, but in theory, school should be a kid's job. And so I put this graph here, and honestly, I didn't even know it had a name. My friends and I just say the U curve, because it is a U. And I don't know if anyone can see the text. Basically, the idea here is the y-axis is performance, and then the bottom axis is arousal or anxiety or thinking. And so the curve is saying, if you, and I think when people talk about academic stress and pressure, is we were talking about the right side, where you have too much anxiety and too much worries about how you're doing, what you're doing, can you do it, And so that causes you to be all distracted and not focused and not get it done, right? The other token, though, on the left side, which we don't talk about a whole lot, is that if you're not motivated enough to do something, you will just feel bored and tired and not do it anyway. So the idea with the curve really is that if you're too bored and tired, you won't do it. And then if you're too anxious and wound up about it, you also won't do it. And so the point is to be in the middle of this optimal level of the curve. It's the top of the U curve, like I said. So either side of that can be bad. And we should all really strive to be in the middle. And it doesn't really matter what. It could be about school. I think athletes have to find some middle ground of this too, because if you don't work hard at your sport, you won't be good. And if you're too worried about being good, you might also not be good. And so, or same with musicians or any task, right? And so we're always trying to find, whether we think about it or not, we're always trying to find a middle ground of, I care enough to do this, but I don't care enough to too much where I start to get worried and panicked and I can't do it anymore. So that is the idea of the curve, and it carries across, again, for school, it carries across for music, athletes, name it. We are all trying to find this level of like optimal interest in something that we're doing. And again, this goes for adults as well as kids. And so, another thing we mentioned was talking about getting into, quote unquote, great or prestigious colleges or universities. And, I think was something we should strive for. And again, it's not just for the name or to tell somebody where you went or anything, right? I think colleges, like I went to NYU for undergrad, you can take biology at any school, right? You can read a book, you can go to the library, you can teach yourself biology for all you want. But to me, the school idea is that I think these schools give you access to like certain networks of people. Like my roommates in college were from all over the world. I had friends from Korea. I had friends who were kids of hotel owners in Dubai. I had friends from India. I had friends from everywhere. And I thought they were really cool. They were really rich. They had a lot of money and allowance, and it was fun. They also thought I was cool because I was from Queens, and I knew how to use the subway and knew about New York and where to get the best pizza. So it went both ways. And I think that was really the experience that I gained from college, was really more so like the people I met and the networks that it allowed me to get into. And it's something you don't really get locally, I guess. And again, NYU is local. But some other schools that are far away, it's not so much where it is, but I think it's about the people that you are going to get to meet. And I think that's more of a gain or more of a win than just like subjects or classes you take in school. You can take the classes anywhere. Okay. Basically, my message here with academic stuff is there's no substitute for hard work. Like my introduction said, and we'll talk about social media. I mean, I follow a lot of musicians and rappers and things on Instagram. One of my favorite rappers posted this the other day, which I thought was an interesting picture. And so it basically says, no results, bad results, or great results, it all leads to the same thing. Keep working. You should keep wanting to strive to improve yourself, no matter what it is. If it's school, then, strive to do better in school. If it's sports or basketball or swimming, you should strive to be the best at what you're doing. And none of the hard work or learning really ends in any field. My life as a doctor has meant taking a lot of tests and classes over the last 15 years. But I'm good at tests. I like tests, as weird as that is. I'm a nerd for sure. But find what you're good at, If you're good at music, if you're good at art, if you're good at fashion design, you should just strive to be the best at that as you can be. So you find like what you like and what you're good at and keep working on that. And not everybody is going to be a doctor or a lawyer, but there are tons of other cool jobs that you could do. And I have friends who do all kinds of things, and everyone is just striving to be the best. And I think that kind of embodies the whole message here. So I think the whole thing about pressure is really, whatever it is you choose or whatever it is we're talking about, you should have some kind of healthy pressure to want to better yourself doing it. And it should be fun. It shouldn't feel like a drain all the time. So I'm going to leave it there as far as the academic section. I'm going to go into like social media, which again, I think this deserves probably more time than anything else. So I'm going to kind of try to spend some time with it. But social media and comparisons we make with each other, basically, social media leads to a lot of seeking external validation. We all want the likes, we all want the views. You post a picture on Facebook or Instagram, you want more people to see it, you want more people to like it and comment on it. It's creating like a whole different kind of world, honestly, versus like when I grew up, when we had dial-up internet. now it's like a lot of you young kids probably don't know what it's like to have no internet. So I think it's interesting. And again, being like at my age, I guess, I feel like I've seen kind of both worlds in some sense, but it's just a different world. And it doesn't mean it's always bad, and we'll talk about kind of good and bad. But it does create a lot of comparison. And so you're always kind of feeling like not good enough in some way, whether it's like your style, whether it's how many friends you have, body image things. I see a lot more like teenage guys here. I think this applies a lot more to teenage like girls, not to be biased, but I do think like that comes out a lot more for women. But by all means, like be fit and work out, but just don't do it for the likes, right? Just don't do it to post it. You should do it because you want to be healthy, you want to be good at it. And really my point is pay attention to your real life. Like social media only goes so far. People only see what you put out there and they don't see what you don't put out there. So really you should rely on yourself and your real life, your real friends, your real connections, real family. That should be kind of the driver of like self-esteem. And so I have some slides coming up that I got from a talk that one of my friends sent me, and she does like child psychiatry. But basically, how can social media negatively impact as much as I do addictions? We're gonna kind of skip over that topic for sake of time. But there's decreased sleep, impaired like social development, a lot of, again, comparison, self-esteem issues, and like suicidality and anxiety and depression. And I'm not gonna harp too much on the suicide thing, but as many people probably know, Guyana has like one of the highest suicide rates in the country. Guyana, the country itself, not so much the diaspora that is here in New York. But it's something I think that reflects the fact that people don't feel like they can talk about it, and they feel like they have no other way out. That's how I always think of kind of suicidal thinking, is like, I don't know what to do, so I might as well not be here. So I think once the door feels shut on all ends and you have no outlets, that is when these thoughts come up. And so hopefully, today and just thinking about it, we should make open space for discussions in general. Like we should all feel comfortable telling your friends or family or whoever, cousins, whoever, find some kind of outlet, because I think that is really the key to preventing things from sliding all the way into that kind of dark place. So, see these? Again, these are from Google, but I think these like sum up basically what is like, social media, and basically comparisons, honestly, that happened before social media. Like this person saying, I wish I was as fit as her, and that person saying, I wish I had a career like hers. So that happens like in real life. You walk past somebody who's like really fit and you're like, oh man, I wish I worked out more. I wish I made time for that. They're looking at you thinking some other story. Like, I wish I had a job that I was running off to. I wish I was making that much money. I wish I could afford the clothes she wore. So, these things happen in real life as much as they do online. I think online kind of magnifies it times a million. The top one says, everyone else is more successful than me. And another person saying, remember, no one's posting their failures. So we're only seeing what people choose to post. And people generally are posting good things in their life, unless it's, God forbid, a death or a funeral or something like that. Most of the time, people aren't saying, oh man, I really failed that test. Woe is me, right? People are mostly posting fun things in their life. So you're only really seeing like the cool side of people's lives. And I think that also makes us feel like, oh, we're not doing enough to have fun or be as cool as them. And the last one, two people are standing there. One says, oh, she's smarter, funnier than me. The other one says, oh, they're prettier, kinder than me. And basically, both of them are cool. Both of them are awesome. It's just the stories we tell ourselves, right? So comparison, what they say is like, what, the thief of joy or something. I think, social media is really just adding a million times to that. Everyone is comparing all the time. And everyone's online all the time. So it's just happening all the time unless you're sleeping. Speaking of sleep, we talk about like physical health to some extent, but sleep is a big thing too. I think like half of my job as a psychiatrist and as a doctor is about sleep. That's like mostly what I do, and honestly, fixing people's sleep fixes a lot of things down the line for them. And so talking about like social media, again, kind of getting back to that point, they say 86% of teenagers sleep with their phone in their room or actually like under their pillow or in their hand. I don't know if anyone wants to raise their hand. Who sleeps with their phone under their pillow or in their hand? I do. So it happens. And again, as we are more plugged in and we're connected, it starts to kind of take over our lives. There's kind of like no break. Honestly, I like putting my phone on Do Not Disturb sometimes because texts never end, posts never end, streaming never ends. Nothing ends anymore. So sometimes I think finding some kind of like peace there is helpful. And so sleep is a big thing though for like teenagers and also just like younger children. I think sleep is important for growth and brain growth and physical growth, but also we need to get good sleep to be able to do whatever we're doing the next day. And so, generally like all these studies are saying, more social media use is bad, but also like nighttime social media use. And I am guilty too of sitting at night and scrolling on my phone and watching videos on Instagram. It happens, and it's fun sometimes, but also kind of like, are you giving up your next day because you stayed up to watch some videos or something? And I think TikTok is even worse. I cannot do TikTok. I think it's like too intense for me, but Instagram has gotten bad enough. YouTube clips have gotten bad enough. So anyway, nighttime use, it tends to be worse, and just make sure everybody's getting a good night's rest, I think, is important. And sometimes it's on parents to like enforce that. I don't think we had TVs in our room like when I was a kid until I was older. But screen time in rooms, I think screen time as parents is something like we should think about too. And again, maybe kids hate me for saying that, but it's fine. I think we should think about it for ourselves too. Impaired like social development, and again, I'm not going through all of this. Basically, there's a lot of worries about connecting in real life versus connecting online. Some people think connecting online is maybe just as good. It's different, I will say that. I think we can all make connections online, and I think they can be helpful to have friends online. It feels like you can say things to them you can't say in real life, but also we should have a balance, I guess, of having real life friends. And I think the bullying thing, which again, deserves its own talk, but like cyberbullying is a real thing. You never know who your kids are talking to online. And there's a lot of people who are just very mean online because they feel like you're not face to face. They will never say that to your face in person, but they will type it online and let you read it. And I think, the cyberbullying thing has become a real big issue in schools as far as my pediatrician friends tell me. Again, comparison, self-esteem. I'm not gonna go through all of these. Basically, we talked about it already. There's a lot of social comparison. You feel the need to look as good or act as good or seem as good as the next person. And when you feel like you're not, then I think that really can like crash down on people. And again, it happens, we follow like celebrities online, everybody's life looks nice and perfect. You really don't know what's going on in these people's heads or their lives. You just see what happened like on a fun Friday night. So just something to think about, and not always to feel lesser than when you see these things on the internet. I put this one here for like parents, I guess. So as far as like identity development, these days I have to say it will happen online and offline. Like as much as we grew up, or I grew up even like more offline, I think these days it is 50-50, if not some close to that. And so thinking about how kids, or think about us growing up or older people growing up, you wanted to know how you put yourself out there to your community, to your family, who you are as a person. Now, though, I think there is a separate issue of how do you look and feel and come off in your online community as well as your real life community. So I think it's just to say, it's not enough to say like just ignore it, forget it, it's stupid. I think childhood these days is very dependent on the internet and screens and online time, and we can't just say like turn it off, don't do it. I think it's part of growing up these days, and I think we have to be able to just have like those conversations. So self-image again, right? So like not posting doesn't mean you're not proud of it. Like I barely kind of post on Instagram. I usually like watch basketball or keep up with sports or news or medical things or music. But really just think like, why are you posting it and for what audience? Like who are you, trying to impress? Do you just want to show people what you did, which is fine too? But, think about like, why are you doing it and like for what audience and who do you want to see this? And I always say, like, everybody who really matters in my life, my real family, real true friends, everybody knows what I'm doing, even though I don't post it necessarily. So just be aware that also, for the kids too, our parents didn't like have these things. They didn't have Instagram. I mean, now they do. But like when they grew up, they didn't have social media, basically. And so they may not know what to say or how to say it. And I think that's fine to some extent, but we should also teach them like what it's like or why you're struggling with it or what's going on with it. And so I like this quote by Dr. Seuss, be who you are, say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. So basically, the people who really truly matter to you won't mind how you come off with something. The ones who have snarky comments or have some critique of what you're doing, those people tend to not matter or matter less or something. So just be aware. It kind of goes two ways. And I think, again, like I said, our parents and elders not really had the experience with this. So I think as kids, you can be the teacher sometimes too, right? You can tell your parents what it's like or what you're feeling. Family conflicts, I'm gonna go through this pretty fast. I mean, basically for kids, like I said, I feel like school is your job. I feel like if I didn't do good at school, I couldn't really ask my parents for like the next video game. I couldn't like ask them to go play basketball because I like failed my test. So, you have an end of a deal and they have an end of a deal. So I think if you do well at school, there's really nothing they can like fight you on. I'd rather fight with school than fight with them. So again, like I said, I was a nerd. I studied a lot. There's things you have to give up, I guess, to be good at school. And I think sometimes you don't want to, which is also fine. And I think parents, too, think about that. Childhoods are not meant to be just school, right? Kids should have fun at some point. Kids should, make mistakes at some point. And I think, like, the role as parents should just be to offer some kind of gentle guidance towards the right direction. And if you think about the U-curve thing again, I think as parents, we should just try to make sure our kids are in the middle, right? So if they are feeling too anxious and too overwhelmed, we should kind of like let them relax and bring them back to the middle. If they're like too relaxed and not doing anything and too lazy, maybe we should give them a little bit of pressure to move back to the middle. So I think we should always be, again, trying to get into the middle of that curve I talked about before. This is just an interesting stat, I guess, again, more for parents. Parents are more concerned than teenagers about teenage mental health. Although I feel like there was a lot of interest in this talk from all age groups, so I'm guessing we're all interested. But parents tend to report more worries about it. Teenagers may say, oh, we're all teenagers, it's fine. But people are worried about this, and things have, I think, gotten worse in the last years. This is a slide from another talk, but talking to our patients, but really I kept this here more like talking to our child. So this is more for like the parents, right? And so it's not just that your kid uses social media, but what are they doing on it? Like I said, I use Instagram. I look at news. I follow New York Times. I follow ESPN. I follow all my favorite musicians to know when they're releasing music. I follow science pages like National Geographic. What is your kid doing on social media? Like, are they just posting themselves all day, or are they like reading things that are useful? Like, you can make it useful. You can make it interesting and scientific or whatever you want. So what exactly is your kid doing on social media? What's worth their attention? What's their motivation for using it? Again, is it a way to talk to friends? Maybe they have a lot of online friends. Is it a way to learn stuff? Maybe they're reading about science all day. How do we know unless we ask? Is it helping them calm down in some way? What does social media get in the way of? So again, if your kid's up for like 8 hours at night, what exactly are they doing there? What are they avoiding? What are they not avoiding? And I guess the last point really is just how can you talk about it with your kid, which I think just means asking them without any kind of judgment per se, just talking. This point about trauma, I think it was in like the last point that Nirvani and I discussed, but really there's kind of like no time. This is like for sure its own kind of talk to get into. Basically, I always say people should find an outlet, whether that's people to talk to, maybe it's journaling. It doesn't have to be online, doesn't have to be your parents, doesn't have to be your siblings. It can be anybody you feel comfortable talking to. I have a lot of friends I think I talk to more than I do family, and I think that's just how it went, and they're always there to listen to me. So whoever it is, or whatever combination it is, I think that's just important. And you'd be surprised who's open to talking, like, once you bring it up. So I'll leave it there. And then creating a safe and comfortable space. Basically, both of you should be tolerant about it. We should try not to inject our side of an argument or discussion until we hear, like, what the other side has said. Because I think, especially in this day and age where everybody is back and forth about issues, no one's really, like, listening to the other side. It's just like, your side's wrong, my side's right, you listen to me now. And then it goes back and forth like that, and no one's ever really like listening or talking. So parents, yes, you are technically in charge, but unless you really want to hear what your kid is up to, you have to listen and not really interrupt. And it might not be stuff you want to hear either. And so you should try not to react, but rather try to actually just sit and listen. You can always respond later at a different time. But if it's making you upset, I think, it just helps to sit and listen. And then kids, or teenagers, same thing, kind of on that side. Your parents want the best for you probably, and their inputs and what they tell you might not actually fit your experience of it, but you also have to be patient with them. Like I said, you can be the teacher, right? You can tell them, hey, it's like this or it's not like this. And, like I said, parents haven't always had the experiences that we have. And so if they don't get it, also give them time, and you can teach them the same way. So patience is key. Disagreements don't have to be solved in one night. A lot of these things took many nights to come up, so why should they take one night to fix? So I think there's never any rush necessarily. So you always want to kind of have a patient, safe space. No agendas, just kind of listening, I think. Again, easier said than done, but that is kind of the idea. And then I guess this is kind of getting to the end. So recognizing signs of distress, and this first sentence really is kind of for kids and parents. So, for parents, you have to know your kid and know what their, quote unquote, baseline is. Some kids sleep a lot, some kids never eat, that's how they live, and that's fine. But you have to know what the baseline level is before you start to say, oh, something is wrong. And for kids too, you guys should know, hey, I like to sleep a lot. I like to sleep in on Saturday morning. I like to watch TV. I don't like to do this. You have to know yourself to some extent. And you should know when things are, or try to know, hey, something doesn't seem right with me. I used to like waking up late and playing basketball, and now I don't sleep ever, and now I hate going to play basketball with my friends. Something's up, right? And you might not know what's up, but something's up. So the idea is that you should really know your kid, and the kids, you should know yourselves. And common things of distress, common signs of distress are SIGI CAPS is the psychiatric criteria for depression. It stands for basically sleep, interest, guilt, energy changes. Are you always hyper and now you're not, or you're always lazy and now you're really hyper? Either way, energy changes. These are all changes. Sleep changes, right? Interest changes. You used to like this thing and now you don't anymore. Guilt or grieving, grief can cause these things too. Energy changes. Concentration issues. I used to be able to focus and read a whole book, and now I can't do any of that anymore. Appetite changes or weight changes, I think, is a common one. Activity, psychomotor activity, really just how active you are. And again, suicidal thoughts are never good. So anyway, you're always looking for changes. And again, as parents, you should know, hey, my kid is usually this way. They're always upbeat. Now they're different. Maybe something happened. Maybe I should ask. Kids too. I always used to do this, and now I'm not doing it anymore. So, and a lot of kids say, I'm fine. I'm guilty of that to this day. So we shouldn't just look at or just hear oh, I'm fine. They're fine. We let it go. We should make time for this, right? Because as much as we're talking about kids and social media and screen time, parents are also increasingly on screens more and more these days too. So it helps to make time. People say, have dinner with no screens, no phones, game nights with no phones. I don't know. People are getting creative with ways to basically have, more face-to-face time with their family. And adults lending support, it's pretty much what I kind of mentioned before. Open, safe discussion space. Try not to have too many goals or outcomes or agendas. Reassure them that you're just there to listen and support. Don't get, visibly angry and yelling when your kid says something you don't like. Maybe just hear what they're saying and kind of decide what to do from there. Patience is key, and again, you're not going to fix everything overnight. But the idea is you want to be a safe space for your kid to come to. They might not talk to you on Wednesday, but maybe Saturday night is the day they feel like telling you something, and at least you've kept the door open. This is way too small to see, but I included I think this is the end. Yeah, I included this link for NAMI. NAMI is the National Alliance of Mental Illness or something like that. NAMI is a great resource. They have that little handout there is from NAMI. So how to be a trusted adult, how to create safe spaces. They have a lot of nifty one-page handouts that are easy to read. They're all lay people language. They put the link there because they have a whole section of kids and teens and young adults. So there's that for people who maybe want to read more or look at it more. And they have things that are designed for kids as well, if you're interested. As far as crises go, 988 is kind of a new thing in the last couple of years. It's kind of like 911 for mental health care. So instead of calling the cops, 988 is a service that you can basically actually talk to therapists for free on 988. They don't have to send someone to your house unless you feel like you need to. You just talk, and you can call anonymously. And I had patients who just call this number every week and just talk to whoever random picks up the phone. It's like talking to somebody on the airplane, like at the airport or something. You're never going to see them again, and you feel like you can dump your whole life on them. It's kind of like that, and I feel like some people like enjoy the anonymity of it. So anyway, 988 is kind of a new thing. It's kind of becoming more developed because it is still pretty new, but it's out there too. So that's another option. And then like network, I think is everything. Like I said, with school, everything was like, for me, it's like building a network. So I have friends who helped me put this talk together. They sent me slides. I can be a point of contact here. I have my cell phone, my email. I'll send the slides. You guys have, teenagers have Instagram and stuff. You guys want to hit me up on DMs on Instagram? That's cool. I don't know. I'm happy to be a link or resource for everyone. So that's it. Thank you for your attention.
Dr. Avinash Ramprasad, I just want to say thank you so much. I know the effort that it took for you to put this together. But before we close, I just have a question. Part question, part comment. So some of us came from a very different background. Some of us came from Guyana, where mental health, the awareness for mental health is not there. Seeking counsel is something that's unheard of, at least in the time that I was there. So it's very hard for us, my generation, to come to terms with this. It's very hard to be able to find that balance. And even though you said, we should get to that middle of that curve and we should try to find that balance, momentarily, I can do that. But over time, I fall back into that space where I don't recognize this and this is not familiar to me. And, so I think as parents, we probably need more help than the children do to be able to support our children. So how do we get to that point where it becomes a way of life in helping to recognize that balance and helping to know, well, what can I do to encourage my child to come to me?
Yeah, good question. No magic answer. But I think, what you started saying is that you're able to do it maybe sometimes, and then maybe you drift back to the old ways, let's say, of doing something. And I think, recognizing the fact that, for one, you can do it. For two, it's very effortful, like you're saying. It's not something that's automatic, and especially people of a different generation, it's not necessarily the first way they think about it. So I think the first thing is recognizing the fact that, yes, you can, and then second of all, that sometimes I can't, right? And then I think, like anything, right, the more you practice, the more you do it, hopefully the easier and the better it gets. And so I think the first thing is recognizing both that, it's hard, and also that sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, but then how to then practice that more so to make it easier, I guess, for parents. I think the awareness thing is the first step. So as far as, we can have this discussion nicely sometimes, but sometimes it goes left. And I think that first step is the step. Then, how can you work it into obviously we're all busy, right? How do you work it into your schedule? When are you too tired? Maybe sometimes you don't have these discussions when you're both tired and exhausted, or you haven't had dinner yet. Maybe we should all eat. Maybe we should take a nap. Maybe things will be better. Maybe we should wait for a weekend or a Friday night when we're not so busy. Maybe we shouldn't do it on a night when they have tons of homework to do or they have sports to do. Maybe we should, some things are helpful to push off. And it doesn't mean you're ignoring it, I think. It means that we're trying to make a real space to actually have a real discussion, not just to kind of both, yell and be combative or make it this unproductive, I guess. So I think all these things are just, and again, people can get creative because, I don't know, your schedule or your kid's schedule or all of this. So everyone will have their own balance, I think, of doing that. So again, like I said, the first step, I think, is being aware that sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. And then how do we then make the hard times a little bit easier, right? Maybe it's time of day or other things I just said. So I think that's probably the easiest way. And I know that's not like a slam dunk answer, but I think everybody has to kind of find this balance with their kids and family. We all have our own little rhythms going, so.
So in other words, we have to work harder as the parents.
Yeah.
And I just, timekeeper, do we have 5 minutes for questions? Or we do? Okay, and Sagar has a question, and if anyone else has a question, please take the microphone and let's do that.
Thank you very much. Bayavi, thank you very much for the presentation today. A comment and then a question. I think your presentation on distress, on recognizing distress and the baseline is very important for parents. Recognizing when there's a change in behavior, we should attack that and understand that very, very, very quickly, because there could be something very, very different that's happening. And that is something that's very, very important. I'm glad you highlighted that. But my question today to you is, a number of states in the United States are now banning phones in the classroom. And they believe that this is part that's contributing towards mental health. Do you believe that this is something that will help, and it's very, very good, will help in that, going forward?
You know what's funny? The next window on my computer, I was reading this yesterday. The unexpected upside of phone bans in school. I actually left it up just in case we had more time. But anyway, interesting point. But it is something that they're talking about. And I guess, it's hard to say, right? I think phones obviously can be the fun distraction version of a phone. I also think school these days, you need to have your email on your phone. You need to be on articles and reading things, and phone is a good tool to have that in your pocket at all times, right? So again, it's like, what are you using the phones for? Or how structured is the phone time, right? And the ban thing, I think bans are always extreme, but I think they have all the parental controls or screen time regulations, or you only get so much time, or you can only use this app at certain times of day. So I think it goes beyond just saying phones are bad. I think now we are in a place where phones are irreplaceable in our life, and now we have to live with the phone. And how can we, I guess, make the most of the phone, or make the less bad of the phone? How do we make the phone not just be the fun distraction thing, right? How can we maybe use it to get by and work in school, and then maybe have some fun on the side, but not to let it predominate as a distraction tool. So this article, I can send this one out too. This is the New York Times, but it kind of talks about pros and cons, and also we're really not going to go back to pen and paper anytime ever. So how do we then make this acceptable, both for parents and kids? Because kids will say, no, I need it for everything. Parents were like, no, you don't. But there is a trade-off, right? And I think that's still to be figured out.
Yeah, I think it's really important that we strike that balance, as you said before, because some parents would like to have connectivity with their children all the time, and that sometimes, if you take the phones away, how can you do that for security purposes and different things? Yeah. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Do we have anyone else that is brave enough to ask a question?
As parents, because we come from a community where both parents work, and the children are
find the kids in a different room, and we are not able to monitor what they're doing. And what we do find is that when they're in crises, they reach out to the wrong people. For instance, we find that in the schools we have counselors, and the counselors may not be qualified to give them advice when they're in mental crisis. And so we'll find a counselor a child and a parent may have difficulties at home, and so the counselor counselors advise them, okay, you don't need to do this, you can leave your home. You don't need your parents. You're 18 years old, or you're about to be an adult, and you don't need to listen to your parents. So that's one of the things that we have to guard against. And one of the other things is that sometimes as parents we find that we know that there are changes of behavior in our kids. But because coming from this diaspora where there's a taboo where health issues are concerned, we don't want to acknowledge that there is a crisis in my child, or my child is going through a crisis. So that's one of the things. Now, some people may know and some may not know. What are some organizations that are out there that we can outreach to, other than you come in giving us this lecture, that parents can outreach to, because sometimes they don't realize that there are organizations that can help them, and have that one-on-one, or have like a counsel, some kind of discussion with them and their child. Can you make some of those available to us?
Yeah. I will say, because I just moved from Maryland and I was there for like 9 years, I'm actually not as familiar with so many local, like New York resources. Like a lot of the things I mentioned are kind of, like NAMI is a national website, and they actually have what they call like treatment locators. So it's basically like if you're looking for a family therapist, let's say, that meets with the parent and the kid, not just the kid by themselves, right? They have family therapists. They're called like licensed family social workers, or they can be social workers, counselors. A lot of like mental health is in a lot of disciplines. It's not just doctors. There are social workers, nurses, this and that counselors. There's so many like certifications. But basically, to me, if you want something that's more engaged with the whole family as a group, really like family therapists. Sometimes they're called like marriage counselors too. It depends on like who it is. But really, it's like, it's not just one-on-one therapy. It's the therapist or counselor with a family, with the kids and the parents. And again, like we said, sometimes it's a lot more about the parents than it is the kid. Parents do have to make that space. And like you're saying, things are busy. You're both working. You come home. You have to make dinner. Maybe you can have the kid in the kitchen helping with dinner, or doing their homework in the same room as you, even though you're doing food. They are doing homework, and at least they're around. Because I think, like you're saying, it's easy for then kids to be on the outside, and you don't really want you may, but at times, but you don't really want your kid to be like, my first go-to is that outside person, right? And so how do you make it so that your parents or siblings even are the first go-to, right? And again, there's topics and certain things, especially with teenagers, it's like not best for the parents to hear, which is fine too. But again, you don't want it to be like, oh, mom and dad are always too busy, so whatever, I'll go tell whoever, or I'll go online and talk to the AI about it, or there's all kinds of things that are coming up these days. Basically, it's like, well, the outlet is not at home, and I need to find an outlet somewhere else. And I think, how do we then, again, build family time, or build activities, or spend more time generally, so that way, the family group is the outlet. So, and there was something else you mentioned in your comments that I'm forgetting now. But basically, I guess that's the gist. Create the time and the space. Yeah, and as far as resources, NAMI is a good one. The 988 is a good one. If you call that hotline, they also can point you towards like, hey, I'm in Queens. I'm looking for a therapist for the parents and the kid. They can point you to where. There's a lot of things called treatment locators online. If you just look at treatment locators, and basically they point out like mental health resources close and far. And also a lot of things are like telemedicine these days. So if Zoom is better or the person's too far, like that is also a growing option if that's something that's more palatable. So they have those things too. A lot of things with mental health have gone to the internet, which I think is good. It's different than in person, but I think, if you don't have access or you don't have a car to get there or they're too far away or too expensive, that's true. Sometimes the online ones can be at least a helpful starting point, if nothing else.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just in the interest of time, because we do have a class that starts at 12:15, we'll ask Arun to take the boys down to have lunch so they get back in time. And then we'll have all of the kids for the class. We'll ask you can go to get lunch right now while we talk a little bit on the resources, which would be really good for the adults and the parents. So while the children are getting, going to get lunch, for resources, I just want to, and this is a topic that we can go on, and for that reason, it seems like you like us, so we'll probably ask you to come back. So, resources, I have, there's someone here from the 888 hotline, and we'll give her a minute, but I also wanted to let you know that the slide with the resources we are going to be sharing in the WhatsApp chat, and we're going to be sharing it so that if you do need those resources, you have the information on how to access that. I also wanted to share with you, this is your health insurance card. And if you look at the back of your health insurance card, there's a customer service number there. You can call that customer service number and ask for a therapist that is in network. They are probably going to take a day or two to get back to you with that, but these resources on your health insurance card, this resource on your health insurance card is very helpful. And some parents, you have an EAP, meaning that there is an online mental health resource that your employer has provided for you. Speak to your HR, ask your HR if you have access to this, because counseling for families and counseling for parents has become something very important. And utilize the resources that are being provided. There's also the Crisis Center in, I think, 76th Avenue and Belrose that is very helpful. And that's for, extreme situations. Okay, that's one. So, Mataji, if you can send that information to me, I'm going to also put it in the chat so that we have those resources available. I'm going to ask Vanshana, I'll give her a minute to talk because she has some information on 888, and then we're going to go into closing.
Hi, namaste. Many of you know me. My name is Shana. Go right here at our wonderful temple. First off, I want to say thank you very, very much for speaking today. I'm actually very passionate. Many of you know me as from growing up right here at Temple, but I am actually a licensed social worker as well, and I am one of the counselors that answers the 988 line. And I mentioned this to say that a lot, especially in our community, we are very uncomfortable with talking about what is going on at home in our families. And I bring this up to say that all of the counselors that are answering, they are very invested, all right? They are very invested, they care a lot, they wanna help the folks that do call. And first off, 988 is actually 24/7, it is free, it is confidential, you can chat online, you can text, you can call as well, 988, all right? And as he mentioned as well, when you call in, you can call in about a wide variety of different issues, whether it is mental health, physical health, whether you're looking for food supplies, a place to go for a shelter, places to live, look for clothes, anything and everything across the board, including substance use as well. If they are not able to find a place for you right then, right, they can also call you back with that information and other resources as well. within the area, you can reach out to your local 311. You can go online to 211.org, put in your own zip code, find resources within your own zip code. You can reach out to your insurances as well. If in that moment that you do need to talk to somebody and you reach out to your insurance, you can let them know that you would like to speak to a crisis counselor in the moment, or you need support in the moment. And a lot of times they do, refer back to us as well. So just so you know, a face behind the person that answers the call is someone from your own community. And we do understand. We try to understand, everyone that calls, but also to hear you. Because sometimes it's not about just finding and giving an answer. It's about giving space in that moment to just hear what's going on. And give that person a moment to just kind of vent and let go all of the stress that they are holding. And we can also talk about different ways to kind of give different coping mechanisms, positive ones, right? So that was just my quick little 2 seconds. I'm here, I go to this temple. A lot of you all have my contact info or my family's contact. Feel free to reach out at any point in time, okay? Just as an added resource. Thank you so much. You have no idea how excited. I'm like, yes, finally. Thank you.
This is Bhai Oja's daughter. He's also is the niece of Pandit Ravi. Just wanted to say that thank you for opening up this topic in our community and specifically in our mandir. And at this point, I'm going to ask Bhai Sohanji to do our vote of thanks, and then we're going to go into Aarti.
So thank you, Panita Nirvani. Let me first of all, again, thank Dr. Avi, for being here this morning and for, engaging us in such an important topic. I personally believe, we go back to the, go back to the Vedas, we go back to the old system. Takes a village to raise a child. That's a simple thing, right? But we don't see it happening anywhere. You see your neighbor's child, and this actually happened. I saw my neighbor's little son, saying some bad words. I complained, and that wasn't nice. So the whole system is shifting. But I think if we go back to that system where it takes a village to raise a child, I also believe that when we come to Mandir, we do not only come to offer our prayers. We come to interact with each other. This is a good place to tell our stories, to share our stories. And so that's also important when we join in Mandir at any possible times we can, so that not only to offer prayers, not only to pray, but to share our concerns and to share the good times, good things as well. Again, let me thank each and every one of you for coming here this morning to join, to listen, especially to Dr. Avi. Thank our viewers for streaming this morning. They're doing an excellent job. They're now, I think, professionals at what they're doing. And I want to thank them and encourage them to continue to stream, which is a very important part of what we do here, to share with the wider society. I want to thank Auntie Boj and team for preparing Bhojan this morning. I know it was a little challenging today, but once we have Auntie Boj around, we are sure to have something to eat. And I want to thank her very much. Thank the Mahila group for hosting today's satsang. Pandita Nirvani, Pandita Amrita, Shivi, and all members of the Mahila group for hosting today's yajna. Thanks again. Do hope that we see each and every one of you next Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Let's all stand for Aarti Bhajan. Okay. So, Dr. Avi, if you don't mind, we have a little appreciation for you here this morning, and we like for you to come up. And this is on behalf of our entire Samaj. We'd like to make this little presentation. You good? Right, so let's join Pandita Amritaji with Arti Bhajan.
Om Jai Jagadish Hari Swami Jai Jagadish Hari Bhakt Jano ke sankat Bhakt Jano ke sankat Kshad mein dur kare Om Jai Jagadish Hari जो ध्यावे फल पावे दुख विनशे मन का स्वामी दुख विनशे मन का सुख संपत्ति घर आवे सुख संपत्ति घर आवे कष्ट मिटे तन का ओम जय जगदीश हरे विषय विकार मिटाओ पाप हरो देवा स्वामी पाप हरो देवा श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ संतन की सेवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे भक्त जनों के संकट भक्त जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करी ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे अथ शांति पाठः ओम द्यौः शान्तिरन्तरिक्षं शान्ति पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्ति रोषधयः शान्तिर्वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवाः शान्तिर्ब्रह्मा शान्तिः सर्वं शान्तिः शान्तिरेव शान्ति सामा शान्तिरेधि ॐ शान्तिः 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 प्रेम से ओमकार भगवान की जय वेदोद्धारक महर्षि दयानंद की जय ब्रह्मर्षि स्वामी विरजानंद की जय मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम श्री रामचंद्र की जय भगवती माता सीता की जय योगेश्वर श्री कृष्ण चंद्र की जय प्रेम से बोलो वैदिक सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय मेसा मंत्र ओम अन्नपति अन्नस्य नो धीहि अनमिवस्य शुष्मिनः प्रप्रदातारं तारिष ऊर्जन्नो धीहि द्विपदे चतुष्पदे ओम शांतिः शांतिः शांतिः